Hi everyone, it's Josh DeVine from the TBI. Hope you guys are having a great week. Hey, this is Susan Niland right over there, and we've got a couple of our special agents. Right over there is Special Agent Rob Burghardt, and above us we've got Assistant Special Agent in Charge Nick Christian. Both these guys work in our technical services unit, and we wanted to bring them on and have a chat about internet crimes against children, and specifically what we would want parents to know about technology in this unprecedented time that we find ourselves in. So let's just start with this. I mean, Nick, you guys are seeing more tips coming in through the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, right? Tell us what you're seeing.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing a dramatic increase in the number of cyber tips we're receiving from NCMEC. Of course, NCMEC's the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children from their electronic service providers. So definitely one thing we want to say is just parents need to stay vigilant, especially during this time, in order to limit their child's exposure to the online predators that are out there.
And I know proximity is one of the things that you talk about, like that you would never invite a stranger into your child's bedroom, but sometimes when the kids go off into their own rooms or are maybe not in line of a parent's sight, you don't really know who they're talking to. So why don't you address, if you could, some of the logistical aspects that can help a parent keep track of who their child is talking to online?
I think logistically is just set the rules. Don't let your child use their devices in the bedroom or the bathroom. We see a number of pictures of children doing that. Keep it in the living room, the common area where parents, everybody is.
Nick, anything to add on that piece?
Yeah, definitely. So we've had other parents that ask about parental controls and apps they can install on the device. Of course, we can't recommend a specific app, but definitely during the quarantine, it's probably better to monitor that more closely and install the apps that service providers provide you. For example, Google has some, Verizon, they all have apps that parents can utilize in order to closely monitor what they're doing. It's okay to read the chat messages for your child because if you're not reading them, we don't end up reading them. That's kind of what we're trying to prevent. So it's also a reminder, too, that online predators are obviously quarantined as well. So they're going to have more time on the computer with your child. So your child may be online more than they have ever before. So they're not used to being online. So they may be contacted by someone that they're not used to being contacted by. So now more than ever, just monitor their activity online and kind of approach it more of a, well, I just want to be your second set of eyes because the internet's a crazy place and it has a lot of people on there you may not understand, or there's certain chat rooms that you don't want to go into. Really just that monitoring and staying vigilant is really all we can say that we want them to do.
And Nick, while a lot of us are at home right now or have different or limited hours at work, you all are getting even more of a workload as a result of some of these tips coming in. So how are you all handling it during this time?
Yeah, definitely. Our resources are thin, but we're staying vigilant on our side as well. So we've kind of moved some things around, and we've had agents. We've kind of shifted over to ICAC because internet crimes against children obviously is seeing a dramatic increase. Well, certain agents in the Bureau have less to do. So we've kind of taken some of those agents, and we're going to start utilizing them to go through the cyber tips and kind of triage whatever we can to get that number down as low as possible. So other units have actually helped out and provided extra bodies that we can utilize. So that's helped out a lot because this is just the beginning. We've already seen double the amount of tips come in just this month. And just this week alone, which has only been 3 days, we've had 25 cyber tips come in. So it's only going to get worse from here. So.
And when you guys say, a tip comes in, what does that actually look like? Is a tip, someone trying to solicit sex from a minor? Is a tip maybe child pornography? Explain to people what a tip actually means.
So they come from NCMEC. It's a cyber tip line. There's multiple ways that they come in. As I said earlier, there's electronic service providers. So Google, Facebook, the major providers that have content on their network that's illegal, they mandatory report to NCMEC. There's also a report line, the cyber tip line, that you can report or call into online. So you can call into with 1-800-THE-LOST. That's to get to NCMEC. So just to give you an example of how many of each tip they receive, from March 15th to March 21st, NCMEC reported that the cyber tip line received over 3,381 calls from the public or online tips from the public, but they received almost 300,000 tips from electronic service providers. So that's your Googles, your Facebooks, and all the providers that are out there monitoring your child's activity since you're not monitoring it for them. So that's just March 15th to March 21st. That's nationwide, of course, so they're obviously seeing a huge increase in the amount of tips that they're receiving, but Tennessee especially is being hit pretty hard right now.
So let's talk about...
We provided some tips for parents who are home on our website, on our social media. Josh, it looks like you want to address that as well.
Yeah, I was just going to say that we've got that NetSmarts resource that the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children puts out. They've got great stuff for both parents and for kids, and I know a lot of parents are looking for content to keep their kids kind of doing something resembling school. Let me ask you guys this. So if a parent out there is doing what we're suggesting and they're keeping tabs on their kid's phone and looking at the apps and they come across something that's like red flag, scary stuff, what do they do? Should they call their local police department? Should they call us? What's the best course of action for parents?
So definitely if they feel like their child's in imminent danger, they should contact local law enforcement, 911 or any sort of number that they have locally. The second thing they would want to do is report it to the NCMEC cyber tip line, and they can do that online at going to Missing Kids, or they can report it on the phone. That's the 1-800-THE-LOST. Those are the two ways that they can report that internet crime. That's also going to come straight to law enforcement that handles that type of crime in their territory. So as Rob said, there's many internet crimes against children task forces around the state. It would go to the appropriate person.
And just to add to that, make sure the parents do not delete like the messages or the pictures, because we need to use that for evidence. So just save, take screenshots, but do not try to communicate with the individual further.
Yeah. And what would be your recommendation to parents in terms of talking to their kids when they discover something that's not great? You know, what should a parent say to a kid who might have an image of child pornography or a text message from someone asking them to snap pictures? I mean, it would be easy for parents to be mad or blame their kids. What would be your encouragement to fostering the right kind of conversation in that difficult moment?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely want to provide an environment to where your child feels like they can talk to you. When I first started ICAC, probably 13 years ago, the old saying was, tell your kids that no one's supposed to touch them or no one's supposed to take a picture of them when they shouldn't and stuff like this. But now it's more of if someone were to touch you, you can come to me and talk to me. So the child just needs to have that environment that feels fostering and has the ability to come talk to someone if they do have it happen to them. Of course, that's difficult for parents to do. The first thing they're going to want to do is take all their devices away. And the one piece of advice we can give on that instinct is that can oftentimes be worse, because they're going to find a way to get online, especially the older teens. They're going to go to their friend's house. They're going to turn off the blocking apps that you have. They're going to find a way to get online. That's just a fact of the matter. So you want to just be nurturing and give them a place to come and say, look, I'm not trying to prevent you from talking to your friends online, but I do want to help you protect yourself online from online predators. Because as we all know, the ultimate goal of an online predator is to meet your child, pick them up, and take them and do nefarious things. So that would be the ultimate thing that you don't want to happen. And if you don't have an environment where your child feels like they can come to you, well, then that can actually be worse.
It's, again, one of the things that you don't really think of is as a result of this, really troubling, unsettled time that we're all in. But again, like a lot of things, steps in being able to do something about it. So thanks for the advice on that.